Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a lot of people were sending me emails and comments and saying, "Hey Don, did you hear about the cruise ship that got lost power and got stranded at sea? You haven't done a video on it. Like, it was like a ghost ship and passengers were in peril and, well, let me tell you why I didn't cover it yet." So first off, what really happened? The Vasca da Gama was on her way back to her final destination after a long portion of a world cruise. Over 50 days they were at sea from one coast into North America through the Panama Canal all the way to the other coast. And so it was a very long cruise and it was on its way back to its home port. And they had an engine room warning light come on. So the crew, in order to investigate and make sure there was no severe damage done, did a controlled shutdown. So they shut down the engines, and while they still had power going on for like lighting in the corridor. So the ship was not in total darkness and blacked out. They had the emergency lighting going on, but they had to shut down the main generators and the main power. So yes, plumbing stopped for a little while. You couldn't get TV, you couldn't get Wi-Fi, and of course they couldn't start up the stoves and that to cook the food. But it only lasted 2 hours. Barely 2 hours at that. Like 2 hours and 4 minutes or something like that. They checked everything out. Everything was okay. They double checked it and then they restarted the engines and it continued on its way back to the home port. But here's the thing. When news stories come out like this, a lot of people just overemphasize everything. If you saw the headlines in any stories out there, they'd be like, here's one I have up on the computer right here. And hundreds of cruise passengers stranded at sea. They postponed for 2 hours. Were you stranded? I don't think so. You're already on a 50 plus day cruise. I think it was like 70 some days. Is 2 hours really being stranded at sea? Yes, it was inconvenient, but it happened at like 5:40 a.m. So 5:40, 6:40, by 7:40, 7:45, everything was up, back and running. Half the people on board probably slept through most of it, but the crew apparently let everyone know what was going on. They informed everybody there was no real danger. But of course, some people on the social media aspect of it jumped to conclusions right away that they were in trouble. They said the cruise ship is without power. It's like a ghost ship here. No food, no water, no toilets, no lights, no nothing. For 2 hours. One couple passengers also reported out that the cruise ship is in trouble. It's listing 15 degrees and a bunch of tugboats are on the way to help rescue them. No, a bunch of tugboats were not on the way to rescue them, and the ship really wasn't listing 15 degrees. It might have been in the water, rocking a little bit because of the waves, but it wasn't listing to one side or anything. According to all the facts from the Coast Guard and the cruise ship on board and the investigating services, all said there was no real problem with the ship. The ship was completely stable. It was never in any danger. I checked out a couple of these headlines and I was reading them and I'm going, well, I guess I got to do a story on this. But then I, called some contacts and found out, what's really going on. And some of these headlines are great. I love them. They're very sensationalized, like most things in the news. And, they put these headlines in or these titles in to try and get you to click on the thumbnail. So this one here says, cruise ship engine room issue leaves hundreds of passengers stranded. And then the article goes on to, they had a controlled shutdown for a couple hours and everything was fine. But you see how the title went. There's another one. Vasco da Gama cruise ship fault leaves Adelaide-bound passengers high and dry as it shuts down off the coast while you're sleeping. Your breakfast was delayed 10 minutes. No power, no water, no toilets, no cooking. Ship drifts off Australian coast after power blackout. Cruise ship drifts off after power blackout. It wasn't a blackout, it was a controlled shutdown. There's a difference. A cruise ship with a blackout, it's through the whole system just shuts down and the crew has to try and figure it out. In this case, the crew shut it down on purpose to make sure there wasn't a problem somewhere. So another one again. No power, water or toilets. Crew's ghost ship is left stranded off southern Australia with 828 passengers on board after losing power for hours. You know, it's a good thing it wasn't an hour and 58 minutes, because then the headline could have only been for hour. So yeah, that's why I didn't cover the story right away. It really wasn't a big story. The ship was never in danger. The passengers were barely inconvenienced. And yeah, the sensationalism that sometimes goes out there for people looking for clicks and looking for, just the news stories. As we all know, bad things sell, right? Sex sells, bad things sell, click titles sell. Happy-go-lucky things don't get the clicks too often. So just want to keep that out there as a warning. Be careful what you read in the headlines. Make sure you read the stories as well, because more than half of these stories that had these big sensationalized titles, when you get down and start reading the article, they say, they go from, ghost ship stranded at sea for hours, no power, no toilets. The crew instigated a shutdown that was checked for about 2 hours. Passengers carried on their cruise after that, and there was no real danger to the cruise ship. Hours stranded! Come on! Why do we have to do that? Why can we not just tell stories that are out there? I guess people got to make a living somehow, and the more sensationalized you make it, the better off you are, more chances to see it. So the good news is, for this particular shutdown, there really was no engine issues. Nobody was ever in danger. They had lights. They weren't left in the dark. A little bit of an inconvenience that the toilets and the plumbing shut down for just about 2 hours, and you had to wait a little longer for breakfast. But overall, not really much of a story. Well, I hope you appreciate this non-news story. If you did, please hit that like button. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.